Geekology. I'm David.
I'm Sven.
And tonight we're having a look back at Star Trek The Next Generation Blu-ray release. Now, these aren't just any Blu-ray release, are they?
No, quite. I mean, we have had a little bit of a look at the first three episodes, first three seasons of this in the previous episode of Geekology.
But
yes,
you've now finished them, and
seven.
you've got your free box.
Yes, the free box. So
let's have a look at it. Tell people what the Blu-rays are, and then we'll look at your box.
These are the German Amazon.de exclusive editions of Star Trek Next Generation Seasons 1 through to Season 7.
Mm-hmm.
These are presented in jumbo steelbooks, so nice metal case, plastic insert inside to hold the discs in. The best way of presenting it, and certainly a lot better than your usual Amaray type cases.
Yes.
With each season, as they arrive through the post, you also got a pin badge.
Some of those are glorious.
Yes. Now, the com badge surprisingly came with Season 1 because that makes perfect sense, and you also got the UFP logo, Starfleet Academy, Starfleet Command, the Klingons, the Borg, and the Romulan Empire logos as pin badges. Okay. In each individual box, obviously you had a little bit of paperwork in there which described what episodes were inside, and there was also, as each season arrived, you went on to StarTrek.de/TNG, popped your code in, and then at the end of it they sent out this case to put the pin badges in. That was a nice extra.
Now, it is considering we're in England and this was a German release.
Exactly, so it was really quite nice of them to send that out. Now, one of the weird things about this is obviously everything's in German except for the front cover. The front cover says Season 3, for instance, but the back is all in German, as you'd expect because it's a German release, and the leaflet inside giving you the episode names is also in German. However...
the leaflet inside is in German?
Yeah.
Are they the English names for the episodes, or are they the German?
No, they're the
German names.
So, not only, and by that, we don't mean that the German names are the English names translated into German. Oh no, they have completely different names. So you can translate them into English and then you try and figure out what episode they're referring to because it's something completely different. The only one in Season 1, for instance, that's the same, I think, was the Binar episode. With the ones and the zeros, so that gives itself away.
They're with that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's quite weird. But yeah, I got the case through, so now complete all 7 seasons in Steelbook and the case for the pin badges, which is lovely. Now, why did I spend quite so much money on this?
I'm willing to bet that I know.
Go on then.
Okay, if it was for me,
yeah,
you would have said I did it for the badges.
Yes.
And you'd have been right. I haven't done it yet, but
I have seen his collection of pin badges, and the fact that there are these pin badges he doesn't own is driving him nuts.
Probably now I want.
Yeah.
No, actually, the display box is nice.
Yeah.
I want the badges.
But it's for a freebie, it wasn't bad.
But that wouldn't have been enough for you. You know what? I'm willing to bet that could have been left to one side. You'd have just done it for the steelbooks.
Yeah. This is the thing: is when Next Gen was coming out, I wanted the best way of getting it and displaying it because Next Generation is my favourite TV show of all time. No, there is no question. It is.
Yeah, it is Next Gen.
Totally. I was quite surprised that when the original series came out, there was no deluxe packaging version, especially being as the DVD releases were available in steelbooks. But what they did is they did half a season in the steelbook at a time.
Well, there was 3 different releases for the DVDs as well. So, because I've got the plastic edition, I've got the bubble edition, I've got the tin edition, but not for the Blu-ray.
Quite. And the weird thing with the original series, of course, is the first season came out on HD DVD and not Blu-ray to start with.
That was a lovely piece of packaging.
Oh yeah, lovely piece of packaging.
Lovely piece
and the fact that were they not flipper discs, so you had the DVD one side and the HD DVD the other.
Yeah.
We won't go there because that was really stepping into the wrong direction for Paramount. When Next Gen came out, I was surprised, slightly horrified, but surprised that the only way it was being released in the UK and in the States was in basic Amaray cases. Nothing special. It was just your basic library case. And you're just like, that's not special. It's not special enough for this show, in my opinion. I mean, I'm very hardcore a next gen fan.
Yeah, no one's ever going to deny that.
No. And even hardcore Trekkies probably, unless they're very specifically next gen centralised, won't go mental over these.
I think that maybe not for the Steelbooks, but definitely for the Blu-ray, because the Blu-ray is a very important step for the next generation. I mean, I'll let you rant on about how cleverly they've redone the special effects and all the rest of it, but for me, the fact that, because the DVDs were just, it was just straight copied from that master tape.
Yeah,
it wasn't
exactly
a tweak.
But this is the thing is that originally Next Gen was taken from film and composited with all the special effects onto what would essentially be what we now call Super Betamax.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was mastered onto VHS for either NTSC or PAL.
Yeah.
Which immediately, when you first watch these Blu-rays, season 1 and 2 jump out at you because
the audio's right.
The audio's right. For the first time, you can watch Next Gen, other than it being originally broadcast, because when it was originally broadcast, it was correct speed and it was the correct sound. This is the first time on home release where everything is in the correct speed and the correct sound. So Patrick Stewart sounds like Patrick Stewart and not having been slowed down or sped up, depending on whether you're watching NTSC or PAL. So that, on top of the fact that, and now I will rant, the way it's been re-put together. Because the original masters, the original master tapes on Super Max or whatever it was, it's along those lines. It was a specific tape format that was done for studios, essentially. What they've done for the Blu-rays is they've gone right back. They've pulled the original negatives from the cameras, from when they filmed every single shot and every single special effect, because back then it was a case of
here's the lighting shot, here's the passing shot.
Here's your 6 foot model, we're going to move the camera into it, because it wasn't the ship moving, it was the camera. So the camera was moving into it, and they do it like several times, because you've got the matte pass, you've got the beauty pass, you've got the lighting pass, the glow pass, and so on and so forth. And then they put them together to create the special effect. So what they did is they went back to the original camera negatives and re-put them back together in high definition. So everything looks like it was done in the last few years, not 30 years ago, which is in itself kind of depressing. So 25, 30 years ago, it's still a scary amount of time. But when they did that, they also found footage that nobody had seen before. Now, this has meant that things like blooper reels that had never been seen outside of Paramount have suddenly come onto these Blu-rays. We'd all seen season 1, a few people had seen season 2, but after that, the blooper reels were hidden in a vault, and nobody was allowed to see them. So it's nice that there's blooper reels on here. I mean, there's some wonderful bloopers from Unification, which just, you've got to watch. It's just funny. Season 2's blooper reel where you've got Gene Roddenberry joining in a sing-along, which is just like, that's fantastic. And that's great, but it also means that A Measure of a Man is a prime example of this. Season 2 on it, you've got Measure of a Man, which was a very important episode because it explored various themes, but it was all based around whether Data was a living being or not, essentially, and the arguments for and against that perspective. Now, the original version of the episode was 13 minutes too long for airing, and a VHS was handed over to Melinda Snodgrass, who wrote the episode, and she kept it. And they managed to match that VHS up with all the footage from it to recreate that full-length version of the episode. Not just the normal one, but the full-length one, with loads of extra little bits in that had been lost, which add texture to it. And Jonathan Frakes particularly comes out of that really well, because it's bits of acting we've never seen him do, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's really quite interesting and quite brilliant. So that's nice.
Not that you're a fanboy at all where Jonathan's concerned. No.
Shields up, okay. Red alert. But they also, as they were going through, they fixed problems. So Tobias Richter,
What? No torpedoes and phaser holes?
Yep, there's basically, there's no phasers coming out of photon torpedo tubes. Yeah, dark.
So basically, every blooper book that has ever been written,
Yeah,
it's going to have to be rewritten.
pretty much.
They're going to have to go back to...
Yeah. So not only you got the fixing and the bloopers, you Measure of Man, where they've got all of these extra bits of footage they found, which allowed them to reconstruct a version of the episode, which they edited together, and then realised it was 30 minutes too long, and they had to cut it down.
I didn't even know that version existed.
Yeah, quite. Now, the writer basically had the VHS tape of that version of the episode, and they've reconstructed that version of the episode using the original negatives, which looks absolutely stunning. There is actually a slightly longer version than that, where the only footage that exists is off that VHS tape. That's on there as well, but it's obviously a bit distracting when it changes resolution quite so much, because a VHS tape versus a Blu-ray is just like, whoa! So you got that, and as we said, they fixed all these problems, but there's also, it's a very nice thing to see when you watch the DS9 crossover episodes in season 6, where Toby's Deep Space Nine model is used. This very nice high definition version of the Deep Space Nine station, which just screams, please do Deep Space Nine in high def, which doesn't look too hot at the minute, but let's cross our fingers.
Give it time.
50th anniversary next year, we need something from Deep Space Nine, please. Let's start with a couple of Blu-ray episodes. Because though the original series Blu-ray box sets have got Trials and Tribulations on, it's in standard def.
Yeah, I'm in my happy place. We've been there for a bit longer.
Original series.
There we go. No, it's just the Blu-ray editions. They're amazing.
And have you watched the animated episode of that as well?
Yes, of course I have. See, it's really weird. You line up, say, 100 Star Trek fans, and you go, right, how many of you have seen any of the animated? And it always drops down to just being a couple. Then you say, right, how many of you have seen
All of the animated.
And most people went, I own the box set. It's like, that wasn't the question.
We watched it.
Was, have you watched it? At which point, I find myself alone and go, what? Oh, how? Yeah. Anyway,
Next
gen.
How important was Next Gen?
Oh God, absolutely vital.
Yeah. This is the thing, is though science fiction would have returned to television eventually, this catalysed an entire generation, forgive the pun, of
That was terrible. That really was. You should be ashamed.
Of science fiction. Without this, obviously there wouldn't have been any Deep Space Nine, there wouldn't have been any Voyager.
Well, no, I mean, that goes without saying, but it's the other shows.
Yeah. I mean, Babylon 5 fed off this. Because
Well,
Babylon
yeah,
5
yes,
was originally pitched to Paramount to be a Star Trek show.
Battlestar Galactica.
Completely requires Next Gen, because the guys who wrote Battlestar, the remake of Battlestar Galactica, cut their teeth on Next Gen. So without this, that wouldn't have happened.
One of my personal favourites, Farscape.
Yeah, again, without Next Gen, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Oh, and what was it they said over at Fox?
Oh yeah, we need something like Star Trek, and then they did Farscape and Firefly, and then only gave it a season.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what would happen if that been the only season of Next Gen? Oh, because the reviews of that.
Shut up! Come on!
This will never last.
How old was I when I wrote that review?
12?
And I still stand by it. Okay, maybe a little bit of revisionist history.
Yeah, but this is an incredibly important show,
Yeah.
and anybody who's a Trekkie who isn't just into the original series, because there are a few people still kicking around who will only recognise original series as being Star Trek.
There are very few of those.
This is very, very. I mean, anybody who's gotten into Star Trek through the JJ series, the JJ films,
and there are Star Trek fans only seen JJ
watch
as
this,
well.
Watch this, and this is this and original series.
I had a conversation with a JJ fan recently who told me that Next Generation wasn't proper Star Trek. Swear.
Sounds like some of the arguments we had back when season 1 came out.
No, not from me. Not from me. There were people who said that it wasn't.
But I mean, this is the thing: is anybody who says that, we just sit them down in front of Best of Both Worlds and watch them shut up.
Measure of a Man.
Measure of a Man, Best of Both Worlds, Lower Decks.
I love Lower Decks.
I know you do. There's so many important. Yesterday's Enterprise. Watch Yesterday's Enterprise.
Yes, but yeah, that's...
Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting, like, that we've just mentioned action episodes, but there's still other things. Who Watches the Watchers? Great episode. If you're going to watch Best of Both Worlds, you have to watch Families directly after, because you can see the effect it's had on Jean-Luc and the rest of the...
And again, that is a very strong episode.
Oh God, it's very powerful. And now, when you go back and re-watch these, and I'm going to sound completely crazy, but you re-watch Next Gen Season 1 now. Now we're a bit older, and we can...
It takes a different meaning.
Oh yeah, and you peel back some of the layers, and you suddenly realise, oh, that's what they meant, and that's what they were going for. And it does make... And now it's, and daft as it sounds, now it's in such glorious version of it.
Yeah.
It's like watching a film that has been made, you know, a couple of years ago, if that, even though it's in 4:3, and you just like...
You know what? You don't notice that so much.
No,
it's a bit of a culture adjustment, because we've all got used to.
Yeah, quite. But once you're into the episodes and you're suddenly realising what they were trying to say or what they were approaching. Certain episodes in here that are just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The Outcast, dealing with trans people and things like that. You just like really need to watch this.
Now, it was cutting edge at the time, and a lot of it still is.
Yeah,
to be,
exactly.
It still has social relevance.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's dated quite badly, but even though episodes that we felt had dated really badly when we were watching them on DVD not that long ago, suddenly don't seem so dated anymore, because new life's been breathed into it, and you know, silly things like changing the display so they match up to quite what they're supposed to be makes a difference.
It does.
Now the good news is that not only can you buy as individual seasons rather, you can get Best of Both Worlds as a Blu-ray release, but unfortunately it doesn't have family on it, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
But that might be a way of testing to see whether you want to do this. Is you can go and find Best of Both Worlds, because I think it's around about £10.
Yes. No, it's not that.
So it might not be that. But get that on Blu-ray, watch that, and then go, yes, I'd like all the rest, please. There is a box set of all 7 seasons out now in the UK. I believe it uses the big Amaray cases like the Enterprise.
It's the Amaray.
Yeah, like the Enterprise box set we showed a few episodes ago. But in Germany, you can get a box set of all 7 seasons where it's individual Amaray cases, like the initial releases. So that might be worth a thought. But I can't recommend it enough. I mean, this and the original series on Blu-ray, must-haves, absolute must-haves. And going back to how important this was, it wasn't just important to TV, it was important to films as well, because once Star Trek 4 had been done, which was around about the same time as Next Gen was getting off the ground, Star Trek 5 wouldn't have happened if the Next Gen sets hadn't been there to redress, because that saved so much money. And with Star Trek 6, I mean, the fact that the Constitution Class 1701A has the engineering section from the Galaxy class is irrelevant.
Which is why we have that wonderful Duracell advert with Scotty in it. No, just no.
Yeah, so that's how important it is, and please do consider checking it out, because once you've seen this on Blu-ray, you'll fall in love with it all over again.
Well, those are our thoughts. We'd love to hear yours, so please feel free to write them in the comments below. Talking of which, you can subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can follow us on both Facebook and Twitter, and of course there is the official Geekology website. Thank you for watching, and good night. Bye. Hi and welcome to Geek. What's with the hand? Hi and welcome to Geekology. I'm David.
And I'm Sven.
And tonight we're doing an overcap review. No.
The hell's an overcap?
No. 3, 2, 1.